Hi guys, going to do something a little bit different today. I've come into the city of Brisbane and just going to run around the river, just a change of scenery. Thought I might do something different with today's vlog, and that is talk about my running journey. Get a lot of questions in comments to videos about when did I start running, how long have I been running. I'll give you a bit of an insight into my running journey from when I started until now. And guys, if you stick around until the end of this video, I'm going to answer a interesting MAF question which I got in the comments to one of the recent videos. Let's get going. How or why did I get into running? Well, I was a teenager, I think 15 or 16. I was an accidental runner because up until the last 2 years of high school, I had really just avoided the athletics carnivals pretty much as I could. I used to wake up with a sniffle and tell mum that didn't feel like going to school today because athletics carnival was on. I wasn't going to miss much anyway. Anyway, the final 2 years of high school, I rocked up to the athletics carnival. Look, I've always been slow, guys. I've never been fast. Even at football training when I was young, I was always one of the slowest ones. Anyway, I went in at 200 metres and there was only two of us. Yes, you know the result. I got beat out of sight. Because you finish in the top two, that qualifies you to go to the next level, which was a zone carnival for us. And it was about 2 weeks until the zone carnival. And in that time, the PE teacher at school said, look, we're short a couple of runners for the 1500 metres. Would you like to go in that? So you got an extra event to do on the day. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a crack. Not knowing anything about running or whatsoever, I went home, told my parents. My father, who's been a horse trainer pretty much most of my life, he said, I want to just go and run some sandhills. He told me the story about Percy Cerruti, who was a very well-known coach of I think John Landy, Herb Elliott, and he used to run his athletes up and down sand dunes and sand hills at Portsea down in Victoria. Anyway, I was living at a place called Sandy Beach and there was this huge sand hill. So I just went and ran that every day basically, which is about 40 or 50 metres. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I did that for 2 weeks, rocked up at the Zone Carnival, hopped into the 200, came last in my heat of course. And then in the 1500, gun went off, went straight to the front, and that was it. I just kept running and running and running and won that event. That was really the start of my running. Accidental, I guess you could say, couldn't you? Anyway, keep going. Now you can imagine my surprise winning my first ever race and getting that first ever blue ribbon. I was pretty chuffed, but I still knew nothing about running. Win there qualified me for the next level, regional carnival, and it was here that my real interest in running sort of took hold. There was some kids that were part of the local athletics club where I lived. They invited me to come along and try the athletics club out, and I did, and I was hooked. Just fell in love with running then at that age, and yeah, it just went from there through the last couple of years of high school. Oh, on that regional race that I ran in, I finished third, so I didn't qualify for the state carnival, but that was okay. Anyway, I just started running more regularly, started to learn a little bit more about running. Wasn't doing sand hills or sand dunes every day. For the next couple of years, just the final 2 years of high school, my running improved, it got better, my times came down on the track, started enjoying some cross country. And it wasn't really until after I left school and joined the workforce that I really started to concentrate on running, learnt a lot more about structuring programs and things like that. Yeah, started to really improve in leaps and bounds. Even though I was still coaching myself as a 17-year-old, I went to some country titles and I meet 4 country athletes that live outside the city. Yeah, picked up some minor medals. It took me a couple of years until I really started to get down to competitive times at that level. I'll get off this thing because it is really rocking now. Hey. Over the next couple of years, had a little bit of success. I won some fun runs, including 2 in one day, guys, 4k and a 10k, one after each other, so that was pretty special. But my last year of juniors, I really overestimated my talent, and I concentrated on the 800 and 1500. I was really keen to try and run a sub 4 minute for 1500, you know, and this is where a coach comes in, guys. If I'd had a coach, you know, they could have tapped me on the shoulder and said, look, you know, you haven't got the speed for that shorter track racing. Why don't you concentrate on the longer stuff, because, you know, you've got good endurance. But I was coaching myself, I wanted to run sub 4 minutes. I ran 1:58 for the 800 and 4:01 for the 1500, but I really think it was a missed opportunity that last year of juniors, and I should have been concentrating on the 5000 and probably longer. And I think this is what really got me interested in coaching, because, you know, you really do, I know some people really like to just coach themselves and run to their own beat. There are other runners that can really benefit from having a coach. So I think that's where I missed out in that last year of juniors, but it got me into coaching, and I really enjoyed that, even though I was only 19. And I think now as well, getting back into coaching, starting my own online coaching, helping people, which is what I really do enjoy doing. Guys, if you want to check out that online coaching component of the channel, it's on the website. I'll put the website down below there, therunningduckeffect.com.au, and you can go on there and check out some monthly or 6 monthly packages. That last year of juniors, missed opportunity, and that's where I sort of fell out of love with running, I think. Moving into the seniors, I just started to socialise a lot more, went back and started playing Australian rules football, and running just took a back seat. It just didn't seem to have enough time. I played football for 10 years, and then I umpired for another, on and off for about 12 years. It was that last stint of umpiring where I needed to get fit and started running again, and sort of got me interested in running again. And that was when I turned 41, so I hadn't run really seriously for 21 years. Alright, let's see if I can get this done before I run out of the light. Umpired a few games in that season, and then just continued running from there, and then I got to sort of Christmas and thought, let's try and run a marathon. So I picked up the Gold Coast Marathon 2008 and went for it, and that was my first marathon. I just really wanted to...
Okay guys, apologies for that. The battery in the GoPro went flat last night, and I was running out a bit of light anyway, so new day. Just carrying on from talking about that first marathon I did, 3:34, somewhere around there, and some loose change. And that was 2 years until I did my second marathon back on the Gold Coast in 2010. A couple of minutes faster, 3:32 and change. But later that night, after running that second marathon, got really ill and pretty much vowed never to run another marathon again after that. Anyway, we moved to Brisbane in 2010, and really running had become quite a big part of my life. And then parkrun began, and that just brought a new level to the running community. And for me, my running really started to improve there, from those weekly 5-kilometre runs at that faster pace, and to the point where I was able to run my half marathon PB in 2013, 82 minutes and some change, and that sort of planted the seed that maybe I could run a marathon. And there was one coming up 8 weeks after that half marathon on the Sunshine Coast. Decided to have a crack. Really in the back of my mind I thought I could go sub 3, but in the end I fell short, 3:03, almost a 30-minute PB, so I was pretty happy with that. That really got me keen to chase a sub 3 hour marathon. But guys, geez, that was hard work. It was another 4 years before I got there. Just going back to the 2013 Sunshine Coast Marathon, my third one, I actually qualified for Boston that year and went and ran the Boston Marathon in 2014, and that was just a huge thrill, and still probably one of my, if not the most significant part of my running journey thus far. So as I said, 4 years to chasing that sub 3 hour mark, and finally got it in 2017 on the Gold Coast. Went 2:56 and some change, and then 3 months later I did another 2:56 and change at the Melbourne Marathon, and I think it was about my 16th or 17th marathon. So guys, it took me 15-16 marathons to get that sub 3 hours. You just got to keep working at these things. So guys, that's pretty much my running journey. Obviously the last 3 years, if you've been following along with the channel there, you'll know that I've had a few injury problems. I've had a stress fracture, a broken ankle, a broken toe. Curtailed my running a little bit, but I'm still plodding away, guys. Still really enjoying it, and that's the main thing, just having a bit of fun with it now. And like I said earlier on about the coaching, really enjoying getting into that sphere of my running journey now, and coaching a few people and offering that coaching service online. Alright, so that was my running journey, guys. Hope that answered some of your questions that you had. Now, I said earlier on, guys, that I had this really interesting question about the MAF running that I would get to in this video, and I hope that Andy doesn't mind me answering this question here on the channel. But his question was, I'm from the UK and I'm in Cyprus for 6 weeks. My MAF pace in the UK was 8 minutes 30 per mile, and the heat in Cyprus has caused my MAF running to go to 10-minute miles on average. Will training in the heat for 6 weeks give me better times on returning home? Well, Andy, thanks very much for your question, and I have said this in the past on the channel about how the heat really does affect the heart rate. The heart is working a lot harder to pump the blood through the body to keep the body cool. Now, in your situation, Andy, I take it you've just come out of summer in the UK and you've gone to Cyprus, where the weather is probably quite a deal warmer. It's only probably natural that you're going to take a little bit of time to adjust to the different weather conditions. Now, to answer your question, Andy, I'm going to say that yes, we'll probably see an improvement in your average pace when you return to the UK, because you're going to be going back to some cooler weather. That's going to alleviate that heart rate working a little bit harder in the higher temperatures. Running that slower pace in Cyprus, mate, I wouldn't be concerned with that at all. It's just one of those things that when the weather warms up, the heart rate works a little bit harder. So just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully when you return to the UK, and I'm pretty sure you will, see an improvement in that average pace. So stick with it, mate, and thanks very much for your question. Now guys, thanks very much for watching this video. Look, I'd love to hear about your running journey and how you got into running and why you got into running. Hit me up down in the comments below and share your running story. We'd be really interested to see some of your reasons for beginning running. And guys, if you have got any more questions about the MAF, hit me up down in the comments as well. Alright guys, that's it for this video. It's probably gone a little bit longer than I had anticipated, so I'm going to sign off now. So stay safe, happy running, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hooroo.